Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Afterthought.
Switching
we are
it up
in
a little
season
bit.
2 right now. This may be episode
7, 8?
8. Episode 8.
Yeah, we knew that. We were testing you guys.
Now, we're doing a very special Afterthought today.
Oh, okay.
Well, because we have Christy Johnson speaking, and she had an incredible word for us. And so, what Faith thought would be a great idea is to reach out to our audience, which is very broad. It is. In the millions.
All over the
millions.
globe.
And, all over the globe.
Yeah.
We had questions sent to us in Chinese and in Spanish and in Indian, and because the viewership is so large, and so Faith went through and translated all the questions, and we have so many questions.
Yeah, we do. It's crazy.
The viewers want to know. They want to, and now the interest we haven't seen the questions yet.
No.
So I think you have questions.
Yep.
And I have questions, but we haven't seen the questions yet.
No.
Now, what I'm thinking is, per the questions, this could spur us into some deeper conversation.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what the questions are. Faith does, because she translated them from all the different languages we got from all over the world.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what they are.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to find out.
It'll be good.
So we're not going to do random questions today.
No random questions, no specific sermon questions. It's just question day.
We're just going.
It's a Q&A day.
You're sporting a new haircut today.
I am.
Which, by the way, Levi got his first.
It's been 5 months coming, but I got one.
Levi?
And Levi got his first haircut.
He got his first haircut. Dude looks like he's 12.
Yep.
Okay.
That's good.
How do we want to do this? Faith, do we just want to jump right in? Am I going to go first, Faith? All right. You ready for this one?
Ready.
Who is Sean's favorite kid? Sent in by Alyssa, my daughter.
It's easy. No one plays favorites.
No,
but
here's the crazy
your favorite
thing
kid is Levi.
Oh, my gosh. So
that's a way out of the question.
Who's your favorite kid, Oscar and Alyssa? Neither. Levi.
That's a way out of the question. That's a win
No,
for everyone.
Here's the crazy thing about kids. Like, this is a true story. You all will find out one of these days. If you don't have kids, if you do have kids, you know what I mean. When Austin was born, I was like, this kid is the greatest kid. I mean, this kid is the greatest kid on the planet. And then Teresa got pregnant again, and I was like, oh, my gosh. How am I going to love this kid as much as I love Austin? Because I had 2.5 years of my life with Austin before Alyssa was born. I was actually kind of nervous about that. I'm like, will I love this girl as much as I love this boy? Dude, I don't know. It can't be explained. When Alyssa was born, I loved you both exactly the same. It's so crazy. Like, you'll see when you have another kid, you're just like, how can I love another kid like Levi? And then it's like, but it gave me such, like, to take it from a spiritual perspective, it gave me so much insight to the love of God. Because number one, I thought, I never knew, number one, I could love this much. Number two, I never knew I could be loved this much. And I remember having that perspective, like, dude, God doesn't have favorites. God just loves us. And how can he love us? Because we're his kids. And I can't choose. Like, there are things about you that I love that are specific to you, and things I love about Alyssa that are specific to Alyssa. There's not like you don't love one kid more than the other. It's just like, oh my gosh, I love my freaking kids. Yep. So it's kind of pretty incredible.
It's like equal, but in different ways.
Yeah. So it's not like a level of love. It's I love you both so stinking much. I mean, I'd lay down my life for you right now. But it's just like in a different. You both add different qualities. You both are funny as heck. I'll give you that. Oh my gosh, both Appreciate my kids are hilarious. You're both good looking. Get that from mom. Super talented. Dude, I'm super proud of you guys too. You and Alyssa.
Thank you.
So proud of you guys. Oh my gosh, you're both in ministry, married to people in ministry. Like, Dustin's killing it, Marissa's killing it. Like, I couldn't be prouder. You know. Yeah. So who do I love more? Yes.
Yes. Good way to finish.
Yep.
Good way to answer that one.
Yeah,
okay.
I almost made Austin tear up. Did you see that?
He got me.
He got me, partner.
Got me real good.
We're going to have to edit that out.
Saying that I wasn't his favorite really got me.
But I did say either one of you were my favorites. Here's your favorite, Oscar and Alyssa. Yep.
The one. Okay.
I'm not going to look at the next question. I'm gonna be excited.
What and where would be your next tattoo?
Dude, so this is just funny. I was just talking to someone about this today because they're going to see Jason to get going to see the old Tat Zap.
Shout out to Jason Bradshaw.
Jason Bradshaw, our tattoo
The
artist
man.
for the last 15 years. Okay. What would I get? Where would I get it? My next tattoo, you and I have contemplated this on various occasions.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
It would probably be a lightning bolt,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to get it right behind my ear, which I know people just cringed and we just lost our viewership in China, but they're so angry. Like,
The Chinese were lightning bolt.
we hate those lightning bolts. Yeah. But those of you watching us in Puerto Rico, you know what I'm talking about. You like the lightning bolt. Dude, I would do a lightning bolt. And
Yeah.
you would do?
I want to get a samurai on my leg.
Mm-hmm.
Japanese culture, Japanese heritage right here. Get a little pizzazz on my leg.
Mm-hmm. The pretty cool thing is when I don't know if you guys know this, when my dad died, my dad was a huge Western guy, loved Westerns. Austin got a tattoo on his leg of a cowboy in honor of my dad. And the cowboy looks just like my dad, by the way.
It does look like him. It's pretty cool.
And then my dad had this like old-fashioned like 6-shooter gun, which I inherited after he died, and so I got that tattooed on my ribs with my dad's name. And so my next tattoo, I think it would be a lightning bolt. And everyone's like, "Why a lightning bolt?" I don't know, because lightning bolts are amazing. And my son-in-law has one right here. He has Alyssa's initial right here, and it's a cool spot. I like it right there. It's pretty cool. That's
Really
where
cool
I might do it. Yeah, but I want to do some on my leg as well.
Yeah, I got the arm done. Now I want to work on my leg, get that all done, and then we'll see where it goes from there because it's never going to stop.
Faith, what about your next tattoo? Where's it going? No
She's
more?
done.
You're done? It's because Grandma's watching. She's like this.
I'm not getting any more.
I'm not getting any more, Sean. You're right, Faith. You're so holy. She's so holy, Grandma. Oh, yeah. That's right. Okay. Next question. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
This one. Ready for this? Why is Alyssa so much fun? Sent by Alyssa. Alyssa sent all these incredible. Okay.
Why is Alyssa so much fun?
I would say this though, both you and Alyssa both like it takes a lot to make me like belly laugh. You and Alyssa both make me like belly laugh. Like you and I laugh all the time. Like you guys make me laugh, and I think it's because we don't take ourselves too seriously in the Blakeney family.
It's kind of how you have to live in the Blakeney family.
Yeah, and the thing about the Blakeney family that everyone needs to understand is we're all very intense.
Yeah.
And we're all a lot of fun. So like, I think it was when Faith was first on staff. We were all like as family, like you and me and Mom were in a conversation and everyone thought we were yelling at each other, but it's really just, that's how we communicate. But we laugh a lot too.
Yeah. You know, but to answer the question, Alyssa, you're great in so many different ways. Super creative and talented.
Yes.
Like Dad said, hilarious, funny.
Alyssa's hilarious.
She is probably super caring. Probably. She is super caring. I was going to add more and I didn't. So you are super caring.
Yeah.
I was going to say in different ways than like I am.
But
like,
she's
she cares
super
about
thoughtful.
things.
She's super thoughtful.
Super
Alyssa,
thoughtful.
Like the gifts she gets us are always super thoughtful. They're handmade or they have a purpose behind them, or I saw this and thought of you. From a funny perspective, why she's so funny, I think because she just like Alyssa's just Alyssa.
Yeah.
And you're just you. Like, it's not like you're no, you know what I mean? It's not like you're trying to be me or trying to be Mom.
Yeah,
you guys are just
yeah.
being yourselves, and you don't take yourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
So we just, our family, and I think the other thing about our family that's so funny is we're just always authentic. We talk about anything and everything. There was like no secrets in our family. Like we just, if you guys had a question, you asked the question, and we were always open and honest as a family, which added for a lot of awkward moments, but also like super transparent.
Yeah.
Great moments, loving moments. So yeah. Alyssa, you are hilarious, by the way.
Yeah. We love you. Thanks for supporting the podcast.
Faith, have you spent some
from
time with my
China?
daughter?
Our one viewer from China, Alyssa.
Never met her? Oh my, Faith would love Alyssa.
Probably.
You would love her. Yeah.
If you didn't hear the reasons that we listed, those might be some of the reasons you would like her so much.
You guys get your next tattoo together. I'm just kidding, Grandma. Okay, next question.
Okay. Mine's from Alyssa as well. Why is
glad we
Alyssa Sean's favorite child?
Is that what she said? Yeah. That's hilarious. And I go back to answer it that I don't have a favorite child.
Yeah.
You both are my favorites. Which you might go, how is that possible? It is just possible.
Yeah.
I love you guys the same.
Ask Philip Rivers, because he has 47 children, if he loves all of them the same or if it's different.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
What's next for Anchor Church? Everything looks incredible. I would say what's next for Anchor Church is, well, there's a couple things that are next that I want to share right now, but I can't share right now because I haven't shared with the whole church yet. Just in the next couple months, some exciting stuff. I would say the next thing for Anchor Church is what we're really trying to do right now is be strategic in, I think, building up our funds, like in our savings. Like right now we're operating, on a pretty consistent basis. What comes in, we're able to we support 10 different ministries now. Well, 10 new ones this year, multiple ministries. We built churches in Costa Rica and Colombia. I think what's next for us, everyone will find out in a couple of months. Well, everyone will probably find out in a month because we're going to launch it here in April. But I think for us, we want to build up our financial reserve so that when something God delivers us something, we can step into it, right? Mm-hmm. So I would love to see campuses for Anchor Church. I would actually love to see, and there'll be some people that hate this. This is not going to happen anytime in the near future, but I would love us to do like a Sunday service on like a Tuesday night or something like that. You know what I mean? Like a midweek, like a midweek, something like that. So it's like Sunday service just on a different night of the week. Cause I think we would have a lot of people who are working on Sundays or whatever. But that's just brainstorming. I think for us, we're really working right now on our discipleship plan. I think we have a lot of people who every weekend say yes to Jesus and give their heart to Jesus, and we don't have a discipleship plan to help them get really, incubated in their faith. You know what I mean? And so I think they say yes to Jesus, and then we just expect that maybe they know what's next. So I think we're really going to focus this year on discipleship. Like we have crews. But we want to make we have social crews, study crews, and we have service crews. And so I want to get more people involved in the crews, into Bible study, discipleship-oriented things. So that's our goal. So I would say for Anchor Church, a few things is focus on discipleship, build up our financial resources so that we're able to, when God presents things to us, we can step into those. When he presents those things to us. I would say maybe expand campuses in the future. I'd love to be north. I'd love to be south. And those opportunities have come up before. We just didn't have the funds to be able to step into that. So I would love for us to be able to do that kind of stuff. I think we have a lot of Spanish-speaking family that come to our church. I would love to see us have an expression of Anchor Spanish-speaking, Anchor and Espanol service. I think those are all those are vision things I've thought about, prayed about, whiteboarded out, but we haven't had, the resource or whatever to step into that. But those are some exciting things that I think we could do.
We're killing that Rosetta Stone for you guys. We're trying.
We are. We are. See.
No, but I think the other thing that we can look forward to is just always expanding, whether that's 100%. In attendance on the weekend, in crews, and in any area. Yep. But with that being said, why we've been pushing serving so much is because we need volunteers in order to expand.
Exactly.
We never want to be in a place where we are growing in numbers, but we don't have enough people to kind of volunteer and keep everything on track. If it's just us, just on staff, that's great, but it's not going to be enough to where we need to go. So.
And I think because we are a new church. I mean, we're not even 5 years old yet, and we have grown so quickly. Yeah. But I think that a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, some people maybe expect us to, because we have grown so fast, to maybe have the foundation of a 30-year-old, 40-year-old church, and we don't yet. We don't. And so those are the things where I would love to, this next year, for us to have a giving report. So many people they give and they tithe, and where's that go to? And I mean, we're giving to over 10 different mission organizations every month. We built a church in Colombia and Costa Rica, which we continue to give to the church in Costa Rica. We help build tons of stuff that goes into the building. There's all these things. So at the end of the year, it'd be great to have a financial report. But those are things that just it takes so much that we just are still. We've only been in the building now for a little over a year. So no, 2 years, I guess.
It'll be 2 years in
next
March.
month. Yeah. So I think those kind of things that we want to be able to, our kids program, I want to see Anchor Kids, Anchor Youth expand. I would love to see our kids area have their own worship area, but those are things that obviously we want to be able to do and provide for our kids, but we have to have the resource to be able to do that, which is another reason why it's important to be a part of that.
All right, next question.
Yeah.
Who is your hero?
Okay, so my hero is a guy by the name of Richard Clark. And Richard Clark was my youth pastor growing up. And my parents are obviously spiritual heroes. I think my ministry hero, the guy that really had such an impact on me, was my parents really from a faith perspective, but from a ministry perspective, Richard Clark. I'm in ministry because of Richard. To this day, I mean, he and his wife Buff flew down for our launch as a church.
Yeah.
He reached out to me. They're going to come for April or May this coming year. Always a champion of the faith. Still, I reach out to him now. So he was my youth pastor. I didn't know exactly growing up what he did. I didn't know what pastors really did. I know my dad preached and whatever. I didn't know, but he was really the guy that in my 9th grade year of high school just kind of like pinned me to the wall and said, God has more in store for you than what you're allowing him to do in you and through you, and I'm not going to give up on you. And I remember him coming to sporting events, and I remember I was in drama, and he came to shows I was in or whatever. He was always the guy that just poured into me. So my hero would really be, one of my books I dedicated to him. He's a stud.
Yeah.
And so I just think Richard's probably my hero.
Yeah.
He's the guy that I still every single week, I'm still texting him every single week. I've known him since I was in grade school. And so he was my pastor that spoke into me, loved on me, encouraged me, was always there for me. Him and his wife live in Tennessee now, but just the guy that I need wisdom and ministry coaching. He's the guy I go to.
Yeah.
So there's pastors I listen to that I don't have a connect with that I listen to that get word from. He's the one I get direction from.
Right.
And then I would say another hero is probably my pastor I really look up to is Erwin McManus. I mean, he and I connect and we talk, and he speaks, such encouragement to me. And so he's a guy that I think those two guys are probably my heroes,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. I'd say my hero is you and Mom.
Man.
I mean, you guys have had so much influence, as parents should, but really in just my entire walk from where I wanted to be a doctor until now, giving me the patience and everything to kind of go on my own journey and figure it all out. But then also when I get to ministry, pushing me to the next level. So you and Mom for sure. But at the same time, two of my old youth pastors who were actually my pastors as I was interning at church was Daniel Young and Charlton Holt. And they didn't just encourage me. They didn't just lift me up. They actually pushed me out of my comfort zone and pushed me into everything so I could be here and doing things at the capacity I'm doing them now. So all of y'all really had a huge impact on my life. And I would
which is so much to say, like, if you don't have a mentor, you need to get a mentor. Somebody you look up to that can speak into you, that is going to hold you accountable. Because, Mom and I had obviously an impact on you, but those are the guys that really had an impact on you for ministry purposes and things like that. And I mean, two of the greatest guys on the planet.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of two greater guys to pour into you
for sure
than Daniel and Charlton. And you see the benefit, you see the fruit of that.
Yeah. But the other thing too is if you're a parent of a middle school or high school student, it is so important to get your kids to church on Wednesday
100%.
night. That's the only reason that's probably one of the main reasons I'm here in ministry today is because those two men poured into me as I was a student all the way up until now.
Yep.
So our student pastors are great. Nevaeh and Caleb are fantastic.
Amazing.
And I couldn't think of two people that I would want to pour into Levi, my own kid, more than them. So if you are a parent listening to this and you just don't really know what to do with your kid, bring them here on a Wednesday night, get them invested and get them mentored, get them godly community in their lives, because it's important.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. What's your favorite chapter in the Bible and why? Gosh, my favorite chapter in the Bible. Let me go about my favorite book of the Bible. Mom and I are reading 1 Samuel right now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is tough, so maybe I'm going to say it's my favorite book of the Bible right now because we're in it right now. But I have read it multiple times, and I'm getting more out of it right now than ever before, because you see the birth of Samuel. You see Eli, the priest whose sons Hophni and Phinehas had turned their back on God. You see the repercussions of them turning their back on God, but also the repercussions on their dad for not giving him the spiritual leadership he should have. You see the first king of Israel, King Saul. You see the fall of Saul. So 1 Samuel has so many life coaching experiences in it from a biblical perspective, but you also see the heart of God, you see the character of God, you see the love of God, but you see the power of God.
Yeah.
You see the faithfulness of God, but also you see the truth of God. You see the anger of God. There are certain things you see. So all of the elements. So I would say my favorite book of the Bible right now is 1 Samuel, because I'm probably in it. And I don't mean I'm just reading it, like I'm in it. And Mom and I are loving it. So that's probably my favorite book right now.
Yeah, I think my favorite book, and it's just one that I always go back to, is Psalm.
Yeah.
And that's always the one that I go back to growing up in middle school and high school. Anytime I'd be in a weird situation or I messed up, that would always be the book that I turn to, because that whole book is about us just having to rely on God. You know, it's like David is in the lowest of low, and he's like, God, I just need you. I can't do this without you.
Absolutely.
And that's what the whole book is about. So it's a good reminder for me, at least anytime I read it. It's just, God, I am nothing without you. I can't do anything without you. And that's it's all about humility and teaching you all these things. So it's a good book. I love Psalm, but I also love John. I know John's like the first one that you kind of go to, or at least we say it's the first book you go to if you just dedicate your heart over to God, because you get to see the life of Jesus.
Right.
And it's a good book to read, because you really are seeing the life of Jesus. Yeah. If you are trying to live your life like Jesus, what better book to love than the one that shows you his entire life? So
awesome.
Those are mine too.
How much time we have left, Faith? Really?
10 minutes. We're doing good.
All right.
I got the next one right?
Okay.
All right. What is one piece of advice you would give someone young that is starting out in ministry?
Advice I would give. Number one, you don't know everything.
That's a good one.
You think you do, but you don't.
Yeah.
So I would say start there, because the older I get, the more I recognize I don't know. So when I was first in ministry, I had no kids telling parents how to parent their kids, because I know how to parent kids, because I was leading kids and I was 25 and, they were 36 with teenagers. And I was like, let me tell you how to really parent. So I think the older I get, the more I recognize that I don't know. And I wish I would have stuttered at that vulnerable place to begin with. So I think, number one, you don't know everything you think you know. Number two, get around people that know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Number three, surround yourself with people that'll make you better. That will make you better and make you look better. So what I recognize later, I shouldn't say early in ministry, that's not true. Later on in ministry, that there are a lot of things I can't do, even though I thought I could do. And so I would try to make myself do those things better, as opposed to doing the things I do well and surrounding myself with people to do the things I don't do well. Case in point, I texted Faith yesterday. Faith is freaking killing it right now on like the social media.
You hear that, Grandma? Killing it.
Faith is killing it. I'm so proud of her. And so I look at our church and be like, oh, way to go. No, that's not me. That's Faith. But at the end of the day, Faith makes us look good, right? So it's like what you do in your area, and Stephanie and Marie and Ethan and Caleb and Nevaeh and Jess and Marissa and all the team, right? So every single person on our team, like what Amanda does. So every single person on our team, it's like you surround yourself with the right people. At the end of the day, everyone knows, like, it's not, people go, man, the church is amazing. Yeah, but it's because we have amazing people.
Yeah.
So I would say you don't know everything. Get around people that do know more than you do, and admit the fact that you can't do everything like you thought you could. And then I would say build volunteers, because the people that think that they can do it. If I could go back and do ministry all over again, what would I do first? Grow a ministry? No, first thing I would do is grow a volunteer team, because it gets to a place where you can't do it on your own. You need people to help you do it, and if you don't have the volunteer base, the ministry will collapse.
Yep.
So I would probably do that.
Yeah. I would say make sure you're doing ministry for the right reason.
Yeah.
I feel like so many people go into ministry because they want to preach or just talk in front of people, and that's
right.
not the reason.
That's
not ministry.
That's probably 10% of it.
That's just that it's teaching. It's not ministry. So make sure you're going in it for the right reason, because if you're doing it for the right reasons, when times get tough, because they will, ministry is not easy. When times get tough, you'll actually be able to push through it instead of just quitting right away because you're just not feel called to it, because you probably might not be.
Yeah.
Next, I would say money isn't everything.
Yeah.
They started with $3,000 in the bank, and because they were faithful, because God is faithful, it grew into something much bigger. Praise God. But money isn't everything. You can make things happen without the biggest or anything like that.
That's right.
Again, if you're trusting in God, if you're relying on Him in everything, your church is going to grow regardless. You're going to be doing the right things regardless, as long as you're just obeying what God has in store for you. So. True.
I think that, resources make it hapen, but obedience starts before resources. Like we stepped out and said yes before we ever had the resources to make it happen. And, those are the things that I look back on and go, man, God's going to be faithful. And I have to remind myself of that now when we have the building and all these things happening. I'm like, oh gosh, what are we going to do, God? And He's like, don't worry, I got you covered. You know?
Yep. That would be the other thing too, is just always reminding yourself problems are going to arise. And most likely you're going to have the same problems just in a cycle happening 100%. Over and over again. So just be confident in knowing God's got you as long as you have God.
100%. So. All right, I got one more here. How do you personally practice humility and fight against pride? I would think it goes back to, man, you know what? I think when I was first in ministry, how I would do this. I think I cared more about what people thought about me when I was first in ministry. Not that I don't care now what people think about me. I just care less about what people think about me. So back in the day, I would probably do things based on how it impacted people's feeling about me. Yeah. I do things now more based on the purpose the Holy Spirit puts in me. So there are things as a church that I know God's called us to do that people don't like. Old Sean, back in the day, would have been like, oh my gosh, well, let's change that. But if I feel convicted in my spirit that the Holy Spirit called us to do that, and we've prayed about it as an elder team and an elder board, and then we're going to do that. Yeah. And so I think that probably frustrates people sometimes. But I think the way to stay humble, like, back in the day, let me be completely vulnerable and honest. God called me to start Anchor Church in my 50s because He wouldn't have called me in my 30s, because it would have been about me and not about Him. If that makes sense. Yeah. So God had to humble the heck out of me for 20 years before He asked me to start Anchor Church, because with the success of Anchor Church, if God wouldn't have humbled me and wrecked me over the last 20 years, I would have thought it was all about me. But I recognize now it doesn't matter the size of the church. It doesn't matter the size of the building. None of that. If I never speak at another conference again or write another book again, I honestly, I'm not just saying that. I could care less, because this is my family. Like, at the end of the day, Anchor's my church, Anchor's my vibe, Anchor's my family. And so I think the way to stay grounded in humility and stay away from pride is just to recognize you didn't get you here. Yeah. God did. If you take credit for the thousands that come, then you got to take the fall for the thousands that don't. Yeah. And I just think it's all on God, 24/7, all Him, all the time. And so I just recognize I'm not that good. And I think you'd have to that doesn't mean I don't love me. That just means I recognize without God, I am nothing. And I think that's probably the vulnerable place to stay in.
Yeah. I would say one thing that I used to do was just reading through the scripture. As long as you read through the Bible, you're going to see people who were prideful and fell. Yep. You're going to see people who were humble, who had every right to be prideful. Yep. And you're just going to see, like, I really can't do anything without God. And once you read the Bible, certain stories, King David had every right to be prideful, but then you read Psalms and you're like, okay, maybe he's onto something, and then you look at Samson, he's like, he was prideful. And look where that got him, So there's so many stories throughout Scripture where pride comes before the fall, or humility wins and helps everything. So read through the Bible. The other thing I do, just constantly remind myself of, is I'm not the best at anything. Yeah, right. If that makes sense. Yeah. Like, I love to surround myself with people who are better in different areas than I am, because it makes me want to get better in those areas. Yeah. I'll never be the best. Yeah. And that's just a constant reminder that I can always be better, but I'll never be the best. So why should I be prideful in something I'm not the best in? Yeah. I can always have opportunity to grow and learn and get better. but there's no reason to be prideful of something that you're.
And
not
I think
that's
celebrating the people that are better than you.
Yes.
Not being jealous that they're better than you, celebrating the fact they're better
sure.
than you. Like, once again, go back to, giving Faith accolades yesterday. Like, I want to always, those that are better than me, I want to be able to celebrate. I'm not jealous that people are better than me. I want to celebrate that they're better than me, because that makes me realize I can't do everything. I'm going to celebrate those that can.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at it and go, oh my gosh, I wish I could do what Faith did. No, man, God, thank you for blessing her and anointing her to be able to do that, because I can't do that. So I'm going to celebrate the fact that she can. So I think, celebrating more and recognizing that there are people that, like you said, you're not the best, and recognizing those that are.
Yeah, I think that was a word for someone. I think someone at home really feels like they got gypped at work for some reason. Like someone else got credit for something they did. Mm-hmm. So they've been bitter this week. I just want you to release it right now.
That's good, dude.
And celebrate the person who got the credit. It doesn't matter who gets the credit. All that matters is the job got done.
No.
And at the end of the day, God knows what happened. You know what happened, and that's all that should be good enough. I promise you're not being unseen. Your work's not being unseen. Just continue doing what you're doing, and it'll pay off.
What if your greatest success in life was making someone else a great success?
Yeah.
That should be your goal.
Yep. For sure.
It's not about you. It's about the kingdom.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Is that
it?
One
more. I got one more.
Okay, one more.
Last one. Sorry.
Right,
one more. Last one.
We're going to answer it in 30 seconds. Here we go.
So this person struggles with perfectionism, something that we don't really know too much about. How do I let others lead when I feel like I can do it better or know the right way to do it?
Let me answer this in...
Did Teresa Blakeney write this question? This is crazy.
Let me answer this in 20 seconds so we can wrap up, because the time on the wall says time to. I would say recognize you're not perfect. If you were perfect, you wouldn't need a Jesus. So I believe it is almost... Be careful with my words here. It is almost a smack in the face to the grace of God for you to think that you're perfect, because what you're saying is, if I'm perfect, I don't need you. Mm-hmm. And because you're not perfect, you need him. So I would say there's a fine line between excellence and perfection, and I waver on that line every stinking day. So I understand it. I'm a perfectionist through and through, which drives a lot of people crazy. Sorry, Faith. Sorry, Austin. Sorry, church. Sorry, everybody. I love perfection, but I always say at the end of the day, recognizing you're not perfect, you can strive for excellence. With Christ asks us to strive for excellence. I really believe he does, but be careful it doesn't teeter on the line of perfection, because if you try to hit perfection, you will never achieve it, and the more you try to achieve it, the more frustrated you'll get. So recognize I can't hit perfection, so Jesus came to hit it for me, but I can strive for excellence in everything that I do to become the man or woman he's called me to be.
Yep. And that goes back to the last answer, I think, when surrounding yourself with people who are better than you in certain areas.
Yep.
That's going to make a full round team around you. Like you can think you're great in an area, but someone's better. Like I said before. So if you have people around you that can help you and you can delegate things off and know it's going to get done well. I was talking to Faith's husband, Ethan, the other day, and he said he heard a quote from someone. If someone can do something to 50% of your capacity, hand it off to them. Yeah. 50% is enough to get the job done. It might not be perfect or excellent, but they're excellent, and you can at least teach them what you're looking for at 50%. So delegation is key. Yep. It's key to being a leader. If you view yourself as a leader, if you want to be a leader, you have to learn how to delegate, or else you're going to be a tyrant.
Oh my gosh. And it took me a long time to figure that out.
Yeah.
Man, great questions, everybody.
Yeah.
We love you. Excellent. I can't wait for
this
next week.
Fun. We'll have to do this more. Yeah.
We'll have to do just like little Q&A shout outs, Faith. I love these. Well, we love you guys. Have a great rest of your week.
Yeah.
We'll see you Sunday. Well, hey, everybody. We hope you loved this episode of Afterthought. If you did like it, make sure you can comment. Let us know your thoughts. Share it with a friend. Hey, we're dropping new material every single Wednesday.
Yeah. We know you like the video, so leave a like and subscribe, because, like you said, we're going to have a video coming every Wednesday. Turn on those notifications so you know when it comes out. You can check it out.
See you next week.